Welcome to Talking Technology with VI Labs. At VI Labs, we believe technology is the single greatest enabler for people with sight loss and all disabilities. If you're looking for the latest news and conversation on tech from a more accessible perspective, you've come to the right place.
Yes, indeed you have. Hello and welcome in to Talking Technology with VI Labs episode 54. We're well into April now. We're flying through the year. I hope you enjoyed the solar eclipse yesterday. It was really cool. I managed to watch the live stream from Aira yesterday. We'll have Aira on the show later on to talk a little bit more about that and a number of other exciting developments over in Aira recently, but we'll be talking about that. But it was really cool just to get to hear this amazing description of how it got suddenly dark and then really quickly light again. It's something we don't typically get to experience, but an incredible thing to get to listen to. It really truly was. So hope if you were listening to some of that, maybe from Aira or maybe on one of the other platforms, hope you enjoyed it over the last 24 hours. A really cool bit of science, I guess. Really interesting stuff. We will be talking to Aira about that and other things later on in the show. And we also have a number of other really cool topics. We'll be talking about the outrage, I think is fair to call it, against the team behind VoiceStream, or the VoiceStream Reader app. It's under new management now, and they made a bit of a misstep during the last couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about that later on in the show. And we will also be talking about a member of the Vision Ireland board who happens currently to be trekking through Mount Everest, if you don't mind. It's a wild story, and we'll be bringing you that later on in the show as well. So we have a really interesting show coming up over the next little while. We hope you can stick around for the next hour or so, and hopefully we'll be able to provide you with some entertainment over the next little while. But hey, you don't just need to listen. If you do want to get in touch with us, there are a number of ways to do so, and we would absolutely love to hear from you. So, if you want to join the conversation on Talking Technology today, there is a number of ways to do so. You can send us an email, the good old-fashioned way, to content@vi.ie. That's content@vi.ie. Or if you would like to have your voice heard by every visually impaired and blind listener here on Talking Technology, and even those few sighted people who do tune in too, I'm sure there's a few out there, we'd absolutely love to hear from you using a WhatsApp voice note. You can send us a WhatsApp voice note from anywhere in the world. The number you need is 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. We would absolutely love to hear from you. And join the conversation. Share your thoughts on the news. Maybe you got a new technology product. Anything at all. We'd love to hear from you. Content@vi.ie or 086 199 0011 for a WhatsApp voice note. Now, let's get into some of the voice notes that we had over the last little while then, shall we? And joining me to listen to some of your voice notes, it's the one and only legend of Kilkenny, Mr. Joe Lanigan. Joe, how are you?
Hi, David. I'm good, thanks.
Brilliant, Joe. So, Joe, did you get, I guess, first of all, to pay much attention to the solar eclipse last night? Is it your thing?
Yeah, well, I didn't get to see it live, unfortunately. I was putting the kids to bed, but I did listen back to a recording about it, and I watched some of the coverage on the news later on, and it did sound really good. But I think, was it 25 years ago when I did have full sight, I did see one of the total eclipses that we had back in 1999, and I looked at it through a welding mask, believe it or not, so I was able to look straight at it. I had full sight back then, David, so that was interesting, and I still have memory of that one. So I did enjoy that one, and I know what an eclipse looks like the coverage was really cool last night.
That's awesome. Awesome to hear. I think we'll have another one in a few years, hopefully. So there will be other opportunities to do that as well. But Joe, let's get down to business. Let's chat about some voice notes. We had a few voice notes in this week, and one of the ones that we got in was from Edvard, and Edvard got in touch with us. He had some feedback because there's a feature in Talking Technology of days gone by that he feels is now sorely missing.
I've been wondering, you guys used to have the tech tips previously on your episodes. I don't know what happened to that, but would you be able to bring it back, please? Because they were great. I mean, I know I get the emails from VI sometimes with the tech tips, but it would be great if we could bring them on the podcast as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the feedback, Edvard. It's great to get feedback about, on things like that and things that you like about the podcast and stuff that you think we can use to improve it. I think it's a very easy one for us to do again, Joe. We used to do, and we still have, a load of different tips. You can always check out like our YouTube channel and the emails and stuff from VI Labs, as Edvard said there. But yeah, I think it's cool feedback, and we'll try do some more tutorials in the future, I guess, Joe.
Yeah, well, we have quick tips, I suppose, but I know what he's saying. Yeah, tech tips. People love those tech tips, so it is one we will consider bringing back. And there is loads, all sorts of different types of technology now. We can give out loads of tech tips. If Edvard has any suggestions that you'd like tips on, or if he wants to throw a tip in there himself, that's also welcome.
Absolutely, and that goes for anyone. If people do want to share tech tips of their own, by all means, send them to us on WhatsApp or by email. The details there, content@vi.ie, or just send us, if you want to maybe give us a demo of something or something really cool like that, just send us a WhatsApp voice note, 086 199 0011. Now, we also had some people answering our Talking Technology big question from a few weeks ago, where we asked people, would you be willing to pay for Alexa? It was a controversial question. Amazon, of course, proposing that they may at some stage start charging for some of Alexa's features. And we asked hypothetically, would you be willing to pay for Alexa? And one of the people who got in touch with us on WhatsApp was Catherine Kennelly Gorman. And Catherine, well, she was a firm no.
Hi there, Catherine Kennelly Gorman here. I don't feel that people with sight loss or visual impairments should have to pay for Alexa, as we need that. And the majority of us are on a very fixed income and are already paying for enough things to help us get through life.
I think it's a fair point, Joe, isn't it? I mean, like, yeah, there's so many subscriptions out there these days, isn't there? And it's like one of these things where adding Alexa as a subscription, it's just going to cause more grief, isn't it?
I think that's a good point from Catherine. We're in the part of life, or in a situation in life now where we pay for everything but we own nothing, that kind of way. So I know people are obsessed with owning their own houses, but it'll get to the stage, I suppose, when you'll have subscription to own your house at this stage.
Yeah.
But,
they call that rent, Joe.
Your rent, that's called rent, yeah.
Yeah.
But look, I think I agree with Catherine. We too many more options out there, other options apart from the Lady A, so people could switch to another smart speaker. I think it'd be a dangerous option for them to use, and I agree with Catherine.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone else who shared that sentiment as well was Tina, and Tina had a lot of detailed thoughts as to why she also wouldn't really be willing to pay for Alexa. Here's what Tina had to say.
Hi, my name is Tina, and I have a comment about whether I would pay for Alexa or not. So I personally wouldn't, unless they introduced like a really cool extra features. I can't even think of what that would be, but I suppose in Ireland, if they significantly improved the services. So, for example, if you ask Alexa at the moment to tell you something near you, a shop or opening hours of pubs or restaurants, it usually ends up telling you something in the UK or the States, even though I have the location to Ireland. So that's why I wouldn't be willing to pay for it. And also, you already bought the device, so you paid for the device. So I feel there has to be at least a basic service that has to be free, because otherwise the device, you couldn't use it anymore and you already bought it. So I think that's a consumer rights issue, at least in Europe. And yeah, I suppose it would just be another subscription, and people already have subscriptions for TV and for this and for that. So I think the cost of living crisis, it would just add up. So I wouldn't pay for it unless there's some absolutely special feature that I think is great. And also, it would be really annoying for people who bought, I don't know, appliances or something, or lights, to work with Alexa that they now can't use anymore unless they pay an extra subscription. And I feel you can't really introduce that after the fact, because if you introduce that from the start, and then people know about it and they can choose whether they want to buy it or not. But introducing it afterwards, after you already bought the device, really wouldn't be fair. So yeah, I'd probably get rid of my Alexa if they introduced that.
Harsh words, but it's a fair point. I mean, we'll be talking later on in the show about VoiceStream. And VoiceStream, actually, they went down the road of doing something like that, introducing a subscription after the fact, and it didn't go down particularly well. But Joe, your thoughts there on what Tina was saying? It's a fair point, I think, to be fair. Yeah. You can't really introduce this stuff after the fact. It's not really fair on the consumer, is it?
No, it's not. And thanks, Tina, for that detailed message. It's interesting to see where Tina's priorities lie, as finding out the opening hours to her local pub. What do you think of that, David?
She's dead right, though. In fairness, yeah, she's dead right. Dead right.
No, in all seriousness, though, it is a good point. I know if you do ask your smart speaker about your local supermarket and stuff, it will give you the opening hours of your local supermarket, and you can also ask it follow-up questions about getting the phone number and things like that, just to let people know. But if it did add a subscription after the fact, as Tina said, it would ruin it for a lot of people. And I think people would have a change of mind, and they could be parked up like your old FM radio. It could be parked up in the corner again. It's true. But I think, look, as Tina said, I unless they introduce some amazing feature that will let you use it to do free calls to any business or get feedback or whatever, you know what I mean? I think we'll have to dream up of some new feature that they could charge for. But she also made the point about subscriptions. That's really getting on people's nerves, I think, now at this stage, where you could have 10 or 15 different subscriptions coming out of your account.
Especially with the TV they all add up. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Tina, thank you so much for the comments, and really detailed ones as well. And thanks to everybody who answered that Talking Technology big question around Alexa. It's a really interesting one. And hopefully, we won't have to pay for a massive subscription fee over the next little while. Hopefully, Amazon will be nice to us. We'll have to wait and see. One final voice note came in during the week, and this one is from Raheem. And Raheem, he's having some struggles with luxury living, and it's one of these things. But here is what Raheem had to say for us.
Hi folks, how are you doing? Raheem Nazarati here. Just a continuation on regarding my question of renovations. I moved out of the house, and I've been given the opportunity to stay in a very nice beach apartment, luxury apartment I would call it. But of course, the drawbacks with an apartment like this is that you're hoovering every day. So I have an animal, a Dyson animal hoover, very good. But I was just wondering, I'm thinking of purchasing a robot one, because I can bring it with me when I go back to my own house when the renovations are completed. But just wondering, and this is a more open layout, open plan layout here. So just wondering, number one, would you guys at all recommend any robot hoovers that are accessible? And number two, then, when you map when you set the map up for, let's say, the apartment you're in now, how easy is it to cancel that map and create a new map for my own house? So yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Hope you're all doing well and really enjoying the show. Very informative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raheem. Yeah, it's a really an interesting one. Hope you're enjoying the apartment, messing and joking aside. Hope it's good and accessible and all of those things. Joe, you're the, I suppose, the robot vacuum expert, I think it's fair to say, when it comes to these sort of things. What's your take?
Well, yes, I've used one, and the word expert is probably too much of a level of word to use, but I'm sorry to hear about Raheem's first world issues there, being evicted to a luxury apartment.
I know, it does happen.
It does happen. But to answer Raheem's question, yes, you can delete the map, and you can do this inside the app of most of those robot vacuums. So there's all different sorts of brands out there. The one I used was the Roborock brand, and the model I used was the S5 Max. That was unavailable for a while on Amazon, but hopefully it'll be back in stock. They're a Chinese brand, Xiaomi. They make the vacuum. It retails in between the 550 and 650 mark euros. And there is other brands out there that are very similar. Miele have one. It's the same shape and everything the same height. If you want to go look at them in the Miele Experience Centre in Liffey Valley, you could look at one there, Raheem. Also, iRobot do them. They're
the original kind of baby, aren't they?
They're kind of the original one. They can
years.
They have built-in mops on the back, so does the Roborock. And also there's cheaper model Eufy Vac or Eufy Vacs. So you could Google up some of those models, but to answer the question, yes, you can delete the maps inside the app, and you can also create new maps quite easily. The first time he brings it to his newly renovated home, he can start off he can pair it with his Wi-Fi and let it hoover or let it vacuum away, and it will automatically go around and create a map because it'll recognize it's in a new place, and the map will appear on the app. And then he will need sighted help if he wants to divide off certain areas, though, or divide off corners where the dog's bowl is, if you didn't want to knock over water or tip off the dog's bowl or anything like that. Or for any reason, there might be dog's toys or something in the corner or anything. If you want to separate areas, you will need some sighted help to divide the map into sections, or maybe put a new name or rename certain parts of the map. And then you can give your smart speaker a command and say, vacuum the sitting room or something like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, it is possible, and after a while it is easy because you'll get to know the app, and the Roborock app itself is accessible with VoiceOver. So hopefully that answers Raheem's question, and if he has any issues when he does eventually purchase one, he can contact us in Labs, and we'll do our best to help him out.
Absolutely. Joe, thank you so much for going through all of those with us as well. And Raheem, best of luck with the house renovations and stuff like that. Those can be stressful and stuff at the best of times, but best of luck with them, and hope you enjoy the luxury apartment while you have it. Hope it's treating you well. So yeah, thank you to everybody who got in touch with us, whether you were sending in your thoughts, your ideas, comments on the news, or answering our Talking Technology big question. Thank you so much for all of that. And here is our brand new Talking Technology big question for this week. So this week we are asking you, would you be willing to listen to AI music? We'll be doing a show on AI music over the next little while. There's been some really cool tools out there over the next little while, over the last little while, I should say. And they've been able to create some incredible pieces of work. There's been some really weird songs going around in Vision Ireland group chats, I must say. This week we're asking you, would you be willing to listen to AI music, or is that No way. You want your humans. Do let us know what you think. Send us an email, content@vi.ie, or you can send us a WhatsApp voice note from anywhere in the world. You can send a message to 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. So yeah, thank you so much for getting in touch, and we would absolutely love to hear from you some more. But now it is time to move on with a really exciting topic, and we alluded to it at the start of the show, that we will be talking to the awesome team over at Aira. And Aira, we'll talk a little bit more about what Aira do in just a second, but I must say, last night I was very impressed because Aira had live descriptions on their YouTube channel and in the app and stuff like that of the solar eclipse that was taking place. They did descriptions from Rochester, New York. And I guess to tell us about all of that and more and what Aira do, we are joined by their head of blindness initiatives, Everette Bacon. Everette, hello and welcome to Talking Technology. How are you keeping?
Hi, David. How are you? I'm doing great.
Awesome. I believe you're joining us, I think, from Salt Lake City, where it is very early in the morning right now.
Yeah, it's not very early, but it's definitely early. It's about 8 a.m. local time here, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Awesome.
So it's a little chilly outside.
There you go. You're in work a little early, so thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. So, Everette, I guess to start off, do you want to tell us a little bit about what is Aira, I guess? I think a lot of people have heard of it, but may not necessarily know what Aira is. Do you want to give us a brief overview of, I guess, what Aira is and how it works?
Definitely, David. Thank you. Aira is visual interpreting on demand. So basically, from anywhere, anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, individuals can call in and get a live trained visual interpreter to give information, description, navigation assistance, basically whatever kind of visual information the individual is looking for. They can call in, and the live trained agent will be able to give that information. Our agents, our visual interpreters, we like to call them as well, are trained. They go through a very rigorous training process. It takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to get them trained to work with blind and low vision individuals. And they can help you with reading something, helping with you on your desktop computer with a computer issue you might be having, describing anything that you might need, and then of course providing navigation assistance. As you're walking through, let's say, a busy airport or another location, and you're trying to avoid things, they can see through your camera and give you information in a real-time aspect. So it's a pretty exciting technology. We're really happy about it, and we've been in business since 2017. We've definitely gone through some growing pains with the pandemic and everything, but we feel like we're in a great place, and we're able to offer this service. And then, of course, we also have the Access AI, which I know we're going to talk about today as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And you give some great examples there of, how you can use Aira. I've actually used Aira myself in one of the train stations here in Ireland. And it was brilliant because that must have been it was certainly late night. So I think it was 11 p.m. or something like that, Irish time. And there was something brilliant about just being able to call and, get that assistance. I think it was to find a taxi is what I was looking for at that stage. And it was just, it was a great little service where I guess, many of our listeners may have used things like, Be My Eyes and stuff like that before. But the advantage here really is that those visual interpreters, they're trained and they're staff. They're not volunteers really. So there's a lot of advantages to that, I guess, isn't there?
Oh, most definitely. Be My Eyes is a great service. We we don't feel like they're competitors. We're friends with them. It's very different though, because my dad could be a volunteer on Be My Eyes, and I love my dad, but I don't know if I'd trust my dad to be able to confidently guide me somewhere when looking through my phone, especially because my dad would probably get kind of nervous when I'm crossing streets, where our trained visual interpreters, they don't get nervous. They are ready to help you with whatever navigation assistance you might need. And then, of course, with all of the other things I mentioned, it's really helpful because they have an onboard dashboard that allows them quickly to get information from Google Maps as you're walking, and as they're giving you information on your navigation. They can be looking up the destination that you're going to, giving you real-time turn-by-turn directions. Yes, as you said before, looking for a taxi. In my case, I use Lyft, the rideshare service, a lot, and they have access to my Lyft account, and so they can order a Lyft for me, tell me the price, put in all of the destination information that while I'm walking, and then as I'm waiting in the rideshare area for the Lyft, they can watch for the vehicle and tell me when it's arrived.
That's really awesome. And there are, I think, the advantages, I think, to a tool like Aira, I guess in many ways are obvious, to be able to get that assistance quite quickly. I think a lot of people, though, when they think of Aira, one of the things that does come up, and you do hear it time and time again, is like it's a great service, but it is also expensive to a lot of people. Do you want to kind of give us an idea of your pricing and how that works and how you kind of get around that? Because it is a pricey service, I think it's fair to say, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, you definitely, you're going to have to pay to use Aira. It is a subscription service, so you sign up for a subscription. We do offer 5 minutes free every 48 hours if you're not a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, you get 5 minutes free every 12 hours. And then basically, your subscription is based on how many minutes you need. So you can sign up for as little as 15 minutes a month if that's all you think you might need, or you can go up by tiers. And we the retail price that we offer to companies, it's about $1.50 to $2 a minute, somewhere in there. But we offset that price by some 60% that we offer to our explorers to make that much more affordable for their subscription. I still realize that can cost. It's something that I'm blind myself. I do understand that blind people definitely have, in the United States here we have a 70% unemployment rate. A lot of individuals are on some type of Social Security disability insurance or Social Security insurance. Yep. That's what we call here. So we know that income is definitely sparse and hard to deal with, and it's something we always talk about all the time. In Ireland, we don't have what we call our access partners. We want to bring Aira access partners in Ireland. We have some great access partnerships here in the United States. We have Starbucks. So any Starbucks you go into, Aira is free for your time there, doing whatever you need to do inside a Starbucks. Target stores as well. It is free inside any Target store, including Target.com. So you can use Aira if you're wanting to do online shopping, or if you want to go into a Target and shop there. We have over 50 colleges and university campuses. We have over 50 museums across the country. In England, or Great Britain, excuse me if I said that wrong, we have 8 of the railway stations, GBR stations, that we've been able to bring Aira access to. So when you're in one of the rail stations managed by them, you can use Aira for free inside that station. And that's something we're trying to do all the time, is to build access partners, and we need help to do that. And I'm happy to coach, give ideas to any Aira Explorer out there in Ireland when they want to talk with a business, or they want to talk with a campus of some kind. I'm happy to discuss how to be able to do that and bring Aira access there. We also really are proud of the job accommodation piece that we've been able to create for Aira. So if you are working and you need visual interpreting as a job accommodation, we've been able to partner with many companies such as Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Salesforce, and so many more to be able where people can use Aira while they're working as a job accommodation, and we're trying to expand that as much as we can. Our goal is to get the prices lowered, and also to really to try to not make a profit off of our Explorers. That's our goal. That's what we try to accomplish. We do also offer an incentive to anyone who is an RNIB customer. We offer a 10% discount. You can talk with RNIB about how to activate that, but we can also offer that as well.
That's really interesting. And maybe in time there will be more of those access partners, those Aira access locations here in Ireland. Time will tell on that, I guess. I do want to talk to you about the really cool stuff that you announced recently, which is Aira Access AI. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Aira Access AI? It's I haven't got to try it myself yet. I'm really looking forward to doing so. But do you want to tell us a little bit about what it is and how it works?
I sure can. Thank you, David. So our Access AI, we're very proud of. Aira, the AI in Aira stands for artificial intelligence. Aira has been working on an artificial intelligence piece since we started. We actually started trying to work on this back in 2017, 2018. The technology wasn't there. We weren't, as a technology as a whole, as a society, wasn't there. So we had to wait a bit. And Be My Eyes and Microsoft with their Seeing AI product, and even Google Lookout as well, we're able to perfect this, and Be My Eyes was using ChatGPT technology through them, and they were able to get this going. We partnered off of some of the same principles to begin our Access AI. So we are using a multimodal platform. We pull from not only the open AI from ChatGPT, but we also pull from the Google AI. And so we are doing both of those. You don't know which one you get when you try our Access AI. How our Access AI works, it's now a tab on your app. So if you have the latest version of the app, you will see a tab at the bottom of the screen that says Access AI. From there, you can sign up for it because it is a beta. We are testing it. So there's a quick little sign-up sheet that gives it to there. And we'll get you signed up, and then the next time you open the app, it'll be there. But we are, how it works is you have 3 buttons. The first button is a quick capture button that allows you to take a photo immediately of whatever you're pointing your camera at, and the AI will give you an immediate description. Then we have a couple other other buttons. One that allows you to do more of a detailed traditional photo where the camera and you are working to where you're aiming it exactly, and it's telling you a little left, a little right as you're moving the camera and getting it centered to take the picture within the frame. And then the third button is to basically pull in an image from your photo roll in your camera. And so those are the three different types of ways we have that set up. The neat feature about all of those is once you have the first initial description from the AI, they're using your rotor function to flick up or down. You get some different choices. There's the choices that says mark as helpful or mark as unhelpful in your opinion of the description that you just got. But then the neat other choice that we're really proud of is basically to verify with a visual interpreter. And so if you select that on your rotor, the image gets shared with one of our visual interpreters. And anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how busy we are. We try to be as quick as we can. You get a response back that just verifies that, yes, that image is correct, or maybe that image description was not correct. And if you want more information, you can put information in the chat, and the visual interpreter will see that. And verify your questions in the chat. Again, it takes 30 seconds to a minute to get back. But if you want to talk with the visual interpreter, there is also a call button that, it says call an Aira agent button. It's the same button that you would use to call an Aira agent. And it immediately calls Aira, and you can talk with the Aira agent about the image that you shared. They will see that and discuss that with you. So awesome. All of that is going on. It's a pretty awesome feature.
Yeah,
all of it.
It sounds it.
Let me just say one thing too. The using pictures and get image descriptions, and then also to get the verification from the rotor. All of that is free. The only
I was just going to ask.
The only time it will cost is if you call the Aira agent to talk about the description. But everything else, from taking the pictures, take as many pictures as you want, we're fine with that, and then verify as many times as you want with using the rotor. That is all, and you're chatting back and forth inside the actual description of with the chatting feature of the GPT, you can use that for free. Like I said, the only time it will cost is if you actually have to call an Aira agent.
That's really cool. I'll be honest with you. And that was going to be my question. I had kind of assumed that, like that verification, which I think is legitimately one of the really cool advantages this has over something like Be My AI, is like that ability to verify is going to be a real game changer. And I had expected that to be part of a subscription service or something like that as well, but that is totally free.
Right now, it's totally free. We don't have plans to charge for it. That's why we decided to do this as a beta. We're kind of watching how it expands and how it gets used. If things change in the society of ChatGPT and OpenAI and other AI developers, and they start raising the prices of how to get that, that may change in the future. But we don't know, and we don't plan to do any type of charge for that. We're going to try to keep that free for as long as we can, even if we have to maybe find another access partner to help pay for it. We're going to try to do that as well.
Awesome. So the next question I have for you just around Access AI is around the rollout. When can people expect Access AI to roll out on a broader scale?
Well, I think we're just monitoring it. I expect that it'll be more on a broader scale within the next couple of months. It should be pretty quick, but we're not keeping anyone from using it if you go and sign up through the app. So we're signing up people every day, somewhere between 50 to 100 people would say that we're getting signed up on it. So you're going to get it pretty fast. And if you look at some of the social media chatter about it, everyone is getting it really very quickly. So don't let the beta part change your mind or hold you back from signing up. Go ahead and do it, because you'll get access to it pretty immediately.
That's awesome. Great to hear. I must say that's really cool. And one of the other awesome initiatives that you've started rolling out, and you only did your first one yesterday, is Aira Events. And the first one you did was the solar eclipse. Do you want to tell me, first of all, where did the idea for this concept kind of come from, and those kind of Aira described events? How did this come about?
Well, we actually we had to change our app and use a different platform to get our app. And so our older legacy app, we had a section in it called Aira Live. We had that ability for people to get descriptions where they could call an Aira agent, they could share their session, and multiple people could get a description from an Aira visual interpreter. But we knew we wanted to advance that. We wanted to expand it, make it something bigger and more eventful, hence the word event. And so that was kind of the whole idea behind it. We used to do some very special things, like maybe describe the halftime show of the Super Bowl or things like that before. And so we thought we could really expand this and use this as a way to bring more people involved in what's going on across the world. So we started with the solar eclipse as our first one. We were pretty excited about it. We had we had visual interpreters in the Rochester, New York area, which was a big part of the point of totality. We had Janine Stanley, one of our awesome employees at Aira, who was also in her backyard in Ohio, which was another point of totality, and getting descriptions from Aira visual interpreters that we had available. And we're going to continue to do this. I think our next event that we're looking to do is the Kentucky Derby, and we're excited about Aira events and keeping that going. Again, we're not charging for that, so we're using that through YouTube and allowing more access to that. And I think as much as that grows, we will see more things happen, whether it be larger press conferences like you see an interpreter for deaf and hard of hearing. We would like to have a visual interpreter for those types of big things. And so I think that there's a lot of areas that we can really expand Aira events. And so, watch this space. We'll continue to grow it.
And it seemed really popular as well. Like, I was watching your YouTube live stream last night. I think there was one or two hiccups with the actual app itself, but you were streaming on YouTube last night, and there was a good audience there. Like, I think at one point I was looking, and there was 166 people watching at once. And I think that's a lot of visually impaired people that are getting access to something like the solar eclipse that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. So it's really cool in that regard, isn't it?
Agreed. Yeah, we were pretty excited to see how many people were using it and how popular it was. We have an outstanding social media manager. She's also blind herself, and she was putting out a lot of messaging ahead of time. And so I think we did a good job of getting the word out. We'll continue to do that for other events that we have in the future. And I'm excited to get people who are blind and low vision access to things that they may not have had access to before.
Awesome. If with your permission, I do actually have here a short clip from last night's description of that solar eclipse, and I think it would be awesome, with your permission, if we could play that kind of 2-minute clip, just because I think it gives a brilliant feel for what Aira can really do. Are you okay if we play that clip?
Oh, of course. We're going to have a whole event. It's recorded on YouTube. We're just kind of doing some editing, and we'll be putting it back on YouTube so anyone can listen to it again. So, of course, feel free to
Brilliant. And yeah, I should say I have edited this clip down slightly as well, just to keep things brief. But this does give you a really great idea of what it is like to have visual interpreting for an event like the solar eclipse yesterday.
It seems to be getting darker here. It seems like we're really starting to get this. The sun is definitely starting to get a little darker. And I can see here too, it's getting very dark. It looks like it is just even past evening time here, but I can see the clouds. It is still a lot of cloud coverage, but it's interesting. It seems like the sun is almost under the clouds now, and it's really illuminating the sky. There's lots of like marshmallow clouds all over, illuminated. It's very interesting. It definitely didn't look like that before. So we're having lots of changes here. It definitely seems like it's like that 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock p.m. timeline. It looks very dark. It is incredibly dark. I can't see any of the grass. The trees in the grass all look the same. It looks like the sky is just, it looks like it could be midnight. It is so dark here. I can't see the sun. We do still have a lot of cloud coverage here, but it looks like it is completely dark. I do see some lights from the buildings. I see some lights maybe from some cars. It looks like some different lights here from just buildings and vendors, but in general, it is very dark. The sky, I can barely even see the clouds now. The sky, I can make a little bit of blue out from above the clouds. Lots of cloud coverage, but again, it is very dark. It got dark so fast, maybe 30 seconds from light to dark. It was almost instant. It was very interesting to see. Amazing. It looks like it's starting to brighten back up just a bit here as well. Ooh. It looks like we didn't get to see much of the sun here, but it looks like it is starting to brighten back up. It's looking like it's dusk. It looks like the sun is just starting to rise again. I can see a little bit of the green of the grass starting to come back. A little bit. I can see the people now in the grassy areas.
Yeah, it is starting to light.
And it's happening quickly as well. Again, just about 30 seconds. It looks like it's probably maybe 8 o'clock in the morning here. It's starting to come back. The clouds, the trees, I can see the tables now. It's definitely brightening back up. Yep, I can see all of the people, the vendors. The cloud coverage is still there, but it's a very bright, silvery sky now rather than that dark, deep, stormy looking sky. And it looks like we are back to midday.
That is really incredible, isn't it? Just to get like description of that, Everette, isn't it? Amazing stuff.
I agree, and I'm hoping people enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it yesterday, and we were really glad to be able to put that on. And it really was exactly what the describer was saying there. It went from day to dark and then back to day, so it's pretty amazing during that whole experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And huge credit to, I don't know who the describer was on that piece, but huge credit to her as well. An amazing job. So very well done. But yeah, so amazing stuff from Aira. I think it is going to be interesting in time to find out if, those Aira access locations roll out on a broader basis in Ireland. But for now, I guess, if people do want to give Aira a test drive, give it a try, there are those 5 minutes every 48 hours that people can use. And those are great for getting you out of a tricky situation. Like you get off the wrong stop at the bus or something like that. An Aira agent is brilliant at helping at stuff like that. So if people do want to try out Aira and have it as another tool in the toolbox, where can they find out more and how can they get involved?
So it is on both your iOS Apple platform and as well as the Google Android platform. So you can download the Aira Explorer app, AIRA, the word Explorer. You can download that app from both the Apple Store and the Google Play Store and use that on your smartphone device. You can also use it on your desktop computer by logging into explorer.aira.io. That's explorer.aira.io. app.ira.io, and you can use it on your desktop. Again, the 5 minutes will be free, as well as your subscription from there, so you can utilize the app and give it a try. We encourage anyone to try it out and use it, and please let us know, give us feedback on what you think.
Awesome. Everette, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Technology, and especially, I know we got you up early today, so thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully we will see more of those Aira Access locations in the future. But for now, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Technology.
Thank you, David. It was a pleasure to be here, and look forward to spending time more in the future. I'm hoping to get to come to England and Ireland. I've never been, so I hope I get to come in the future, and maybe we can meet.
Awesome. That would be fantastic. We'd love if you'd pay us a visit. So, thank you so much for joining us. And excuse me, I'm sure we'll talk again soon. But thank you for now. That is Everette Bacon. He is the head of Blindness Initiatives at Aira. A really cool title, by the way. I love that title. But yeah, awesome. So Everette Bacon, head of Blindness Initiatives at Aira. If you have thoughts on Aira, maybe you have used it before, maybe you have thoughts on it, and you want to tell us your experiences, or maybe you have use cases for Aira, please do get in touch with us. We'd absolutely love to hear from you. You can send a WhatsApp voice note to us, as always, on 086 199 0011, or you can send us an email to content@vi.ie. We've got tech news coming up in a bit, and we've got some really interesting stories coming up in Quick Picks too, so do stick around. We hope you're enjoying the show. But for now, let's hop right over to Mr. Daniel Dunn for some tech news, shall we?
This is Talking Technology News.
Hello there, with your latest Talking Technology News, I'm Daniel. The VoiceStream Reader app has been in the news the past few days following a now reversed decision from the app's new owners to turn the app into a subscription service. Many users had already paid for the app, but those users were going to be forced to purchase a new subscription to keep the app if they wanted to keep using it. In a message to existing customers shared last week, the new owners of VoiceStream said, "This subscription includes the Mac app, all devices, and much more. You will always have access to existing documents, but the subscription will be required to upload new ones." This resulted in a major backlash from the app's users, which resulted in the reversal of the decision on Saturday last. The company said, "We will continue to provide access to the app's existing features at no additional cost. As we continue developing VoiceStream, some new features may be offered as part of a subscription, but the current capabilities will remain free to those who have already purchased VoiceStream. For those who have already moved to a subscription, it is no longer necessary to continue using the app. You may cancel your subscription, but we welcome you to keep it active to support ongoing development." It's good to see that the new owners listen to the feedback, and hopefully they won't try introducing a subscription in this way again anytime soon. In other news, for years, blind and visually impaired people have been turning to Apple Viz to get info on Apple products from an accessibility standpoint. From apps to voiceover tips, if it related to Apple and accessibility, you'll probably find resources on Apple Viz. But now Apple Viz has decided to make a change. They are becoming more inclusive and opening their platform to include information and discussions on Android, Windows, and other assistive and smart technology. The change only affects the forums for now and will be tested on the site over the next 3 or 4 months. Apple will remain the core of Apple Viz, pardon the pun, but this will allow more discussions on areas like smart home technology, which are increasingly relevant to those with sight loss. And finally, for now, a member of the Vision Ireland board is on a mission as he travels to Everest Base Camp in aid of the charity. Speaking on his I Donate page for the event, Roddy Feely said, "My wife and I decided to do something memorable for our 35th wedding anniversary and her 60th birthday. After some brief deliberation, we settled on a once-in-a-lifetime experience to trek to Everette Base Camp in Nepal. We've never hiked at this altitude before and have never visited this part of the world, so it should be both an interesting challenge and a wonderful opportunity to experience Nepalese culture. This is an incredible achievement from Roddy, as the Everest Base Camp is some 5,364 metres above sea level. The peak of Mount Everest itself, which is of course the highest point on Earth, stands at 8,848 metres. So Roddy is going a good chunk of the way up. Best wishes to Roddy and his wife on this incredible achievement, and you can find links to learn more and donate on the Vision Ireland social media channels. And that's it for now, but if you want to share your thoughts on any of the stories we've covered today, you can always send us a voice note to 086 199 0011. But for now, it's back to you, David.
Thanks, Daniel. I think it was Joe said earlier that talking technology is quite literally reaching new heights with that one. It's really it's great to see, isn't it? An incredible achievement.
Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, like gosh, when you think about, over 5,300 meters, like that's 5.3 kilometers up. So
yeah, that's wild when you think about it that way.
If anyone has been on an airplane before, like it's a good while after takeoff that you're only hitting that height. So it'll just give you an idea of how high you are up there.
That's wild. When you think of it like that, it is really crazy. And you do need a lot of like preparation for that and stuff like that. I think even around like breathing and stuff, it's crazy, isn't it? But
absolutely, yeah. The levels of oxygen in the air are much lower at that height. Like I don't know if anyone here has ever maybe ventured into high peaks, I suppose not in Ireland maybe, but definitely in other countries. If you got up about 2,000 to 3,000 meters, you notice the air, you're gasping for your breath a lot more. So yeah. So
would you ever do Everest yourself?
Would
you ever do Everest yourself?
No, the closest, the highest I got was in the Canary Islands on Tenerife, Mount Teide, which goes some 3,500, maybe 4,000 meters up, and we were up near not the top now, but just at the cavern part, at the where the ski lifts start.
Would you not go to the top, Daniel? For God's sake, would you not go to the top?
It was snowing up there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Awesome.
It was too cold.
Joe, I'll bring you in there. That whole thing with VoiceStream, we talked about Alexa subscriptions earlier on. VoiceStream was like, Amazon, hold my drink. Let me have a go at annoying some people here.
Yeah, I think so. Well, there's a couple of sides to that story, I suppose. Originally, Winston Chan he was the developer of the VoiceStream app. He sold it to a company called Applause. But I think it got to the stage where Applause decided, after paying a substantial amount of money for this app and service, that they wanted to start making the project viable and making some money for themselves as well. They decided to change tact and put in a subscription model. But there was earlier agreements made about people who bought the app. They would never have to pay for subscription and all that kind of stuff. So it's very difficult to change things after the fact. And some people got very upset, and some blind advocates were pushing to give it a 1-star review on the App Store and report the app and do all sorts of things, which isn't the right thing either. So
I don't think, like, there's a lot to be said for advocacy and stuff like that, but you've got to be reasonable about these things too. And I think you make a fair point. I think, and for the record, I think what VoiceStream were doing here wasn't right. I think, like, I'm one of those people who had originally paid for VoiceStream when it was a one-off service. And like, for me, I'm not, like, being realistic, I've paid for VoiceStream already, And I'm not going to pay 79 quid a year, I think it was. Or I think they were going to reduce it for a little while. But 79 quid a year to start using something that I've already bought. Like, I think that was very unfair. But I think equally, I think you do have to have a level of understanding that, just leaving 1-star reviews and almost being spammy like that, I think.
No, as I said, David, 2 wrongs don't make a right. So I think there's better ways of doing things. There was suggestions that they might bring out 2 apps, one for the original purchasers and then one for new subscribers. But then 2 apps can get messy for that company too, trying to update 2 new apps. Yeah. And so look, they've reversed the decision for now, and we will watch this space. It'll be very interesting to see where it goes.
The moral of the story was they got no round of applause.
Oh,
very good, very good. Have you no sound?
I've no. I don't. I wish I had those kind of, the boom tish here. Yeah, but you'll have to be satisfied with our talking technology big question gong. Sorry, Daniel. But yeah, it's an interesting one though. Like I do think they missed the mark on this one, but. There was no need, I think, for some of the chaos that followed, but hey, it also worked, I guess. So people got their way. It does show sometimes loud voices do have an impact, don't they? It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Don't upset us blind people, and that's the moral of the story.
It's true. Yeah, don't fight with the blind. Isn't that the way? Alrighty. So Joe, thank you so much for telling us all about that, and Daniel for reading tech news. Just quickly before we jump into quick picks, are you a fan of these new changes on Apple Vis?
I think it's going to be good. Yeah, it's particularly from the point of view of, technology, home, the Internet of Things, it's gone beyond just your platform now. It's about integrating other devices and all that. So I think, it's probably a little bit overdue, but it's great to see it going in that direction.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Joe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a fan of bringing in new discussions on different technologies in Apple Vis, because I think it's getting to the stage now that we can't discriminate against people that have different devices and maybe be snobbery about Apple products or anything like that. And the fact that it works with all this smart technology, that needs to be an open debate. And also the European Union have recently enforced a thing on Apple that will make them use external app store, so that will even broaden the discussion even more. So that's what I was
just about to mention, that the update there coming through over the weekend for I think it's iOS 17.41, which has that feature for EU residents that you're now able to access apps from outside the App Store.
Have you installed any dodgy apps yet, Daniel?
I haven't come across any.
You're a big fan of sideloading, it must be said, aren't you? You used sideloading a lot. You're an Android fan, so you've used sideloading and stuff like that before, and you've seen advantages in it, haven't you? Yeah,
absolutely. And I came across in a couple of situations where, particularly with an older phone and Google Lookout, and you go and you can find it in the App Store versus this is not compatible with your device. Now, in fairness, it was an old phone, but I just went off and I found the APK through Google search. The APK is basically the term that's given to the little bundle, the installer software.
File, I guess.
Yeah, it's a file, and download it, install it, worked perfect. So sometimes it is handy to be able to get outside the App Store,
circumvent it a little bit. Yeah.
Now, of course, it's wonderful for other activities as well, but we won't mention those here.
I mean, let's not go there. But like, it is, messing and joking aside, there is those things too. But like, I think, like we've come across stuff before where, someone on an Android phone might want to install something like reading mode, and for whatever reason, it's not fully supported on their device. being able to sideload does let you circumvent that a little bit, and there are advantages in that regard, isn't there? And I think time will tell, what becomes of this from an Apple side. I guess it's been more ingrained into Android culture, if you will. But time will tell. It's an interesting one for sure, isn't it?
It's an interesting one for sure. And I guess, what you probably see, and I probably see this, foresee this starting with the networks. Let's say you go into and you get a Vodafone, network plan, iPhone bundle all together, you're tied in for a contract, and you'll probably see that there'll be a Vodafone app store on it, giving you, tailor-made apps for Vodafone Ireland customers, something like that. I think that's where it'll probably start, and you'll probably see other international companies doing something with their own app store. Maybe you'll have something like like the Stream gaming platform. They might do their own app store, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going to go.
Interesting stuff. Daniel, Joe, thank you so much for that. And on that note, let's jump over and chat about some quick picks, shall we?
It's time for VI Labs Quick Picks.
And we've one quick pick for you this week, and that is the Simple Radio app. A great name for an app, this. Simple Radio, it's just called. You can find it just by searching Simple Radio on the App Store, and it is free. So you might as well give it a go while you're in there searching for Aira. Maybe get Simple Radio too. But Mairead O'Mahony, of course, our colleague on the VI Labs team, did a great article on this for the Tech on Tap newsletter over the last little while, Joe. That I think came out on Friday. But you've also got to play around with the app, I think. What was your initial thoughts on it?
Yes, David. As I said, Mairead done an article, and you can find it on vi.ie/technology, and it's in there in the news section. I think it's a very good app. As Mairead said, you can there's a search box and you can find stations really easy. Our example was Red FM. Of course, you'd pick a Cork radio station, David, and it found 3 Red FM stations, but she chose the Irish one, and then you can save it to your favourites and play to your heart's content. So that's the easy option of finding a radio station. It's available on iOS, Android, and your iPad app store as well. So it's on different platforms. There is a subscription model as well. I can't remember the amount per year. I don't use the subscription model, but you get a 7-day trial to start off with to see what it's like. And if you don't take up the subscription, you will be not hounded with ads, but you'll see a few ads here and there. And that's to encourage you, I suppose. The subscription model gives you an option with no ads, so that's quite good. It's a yearly payment. We're talking big time about subscriptions today. Everything is subscriptions, but that's how these companies keep going and give us these amazing apps. There is other radio station apps out there. They're a little bit more complicated. This is called a Simple Radio app, and that's what makes it viable for people with voiceover. So I like it, and other apps to mention out there: OO Tunes, TuneIn Radio, Irish Radio Player app. They're all good in their own right. They're just a little bit more complicated.
Absolutely. I just checked the price there for the Simple Radio app subscription, and it is $10.99 for a year. So it's not, as subscriptions go, I mean, that's less than €1 a month. I mean, that's not bad. It's not bad, in fairness. Like, if it's something that you're going to be using, it isn't a bad price, to be fair.
And the subscription also gives you a sleep timer option.
Oh, well, there you go. You see, you can listen to your radio station in bed, You could, if you want, maybe every night at 7 o'clock, you could get VI Live and those brilliant sports report with Joe Lonigan and Paddy Morgan. Isn't that right, Joe?
Well, it is right. I hope it doesn't put you to sleep, David.
Absolutely not. Messing and joking aside, VI Live isn't available on the Simple Radio app just yet, but we are working on that. Hopefully we'll have that across the line pretty soon. That you will also be able to listen to VI Live on the Simple Radio app. But if, like Mairead, you like listening to, Red FM or Today FM or RTE Radio 1 or any of those kind of stations, they're all there on the Simple Radio app, so you can just search for them. There's a handy little search function, and it does the job. It's a quite nice, accessible radio app, and hey, you can't beat that, can you?
Oh, exactly. Brilliant app, David.
Awesome stuff. Joe, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us to talk about quick picks and tech news and all of that stuff, and thank you as well to the team from Aira as well for joining us earlier on in the show. I think it was a great conversation, and who knows, what the future is going to be for Aira. I do think that ability to validate responses from their AI is going to be a big game changer, because the thing is, like, you're using something like, let's say it's Be My AI or whatever, being able to, I guess, get verification that yes, this AI isn't actually hallucinating, and being able to get human validation there, that is going to be a big advantage. And the fact that it's going to be free, at least for now, the fact that it's going to be free, I do think that is a really good news story from the team over in Aira there. So fair play to them. That is about our lot for this episode of Talking Technology. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with more exciting technology news. Remember, if you do want to answer our Talking Technology big question, the question that we were asking is, would you be willing to pay for AI music? We'd love to hear from you. You can answer that, or send us a comment or question about anything at all to content@vi.ie, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 086 199 0011. That's 086 199 0011. For now, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks for listening to the Talking Technology podcast with VI Labs. If you'd like to support our show, please visit vi.ie/donate. Talking Technology is proudly sponsored by IA Labs, the market leader in digital accessibility services. IA Labs, digital inclusion, your legal obligation.